very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to tonight's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
6.6 magnitude earthquake off North Sumatra. No tsunami threat to Sri Lanka. Torrential rains disrupt people's lives. NBRO warns of landslide risk in 5 districts. Over 18,000 suspects since launching Operation Yuktiya. 18,248 raids conducted across Sri Lanka. Man dies after surgery at National Hospital in Colombo. Was carbon dioxide administered instead of oxygen?
ඇයට ඔක්සිජන් ලබා දීමේදී විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් කාබන් ඩයොක්සයිඩ් වායුව ඇතුල් වීම තමයි මේ මරණයට හේතු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
Latest VAT amendment to affect public transport, water bills and telephone charges. Prices of essential services to skyrocket. Sri Lanka names squad for Zimbabwe series. Kusal Hasaranga to lead ODI T20 sides.
And now the stories in detail. With 2024 marked as an election year by Sri Lanka's constitution, political discussions around potential candidates are heating up. Against such a backdrop, the Jatika Janabalawege has declared a compelling promise. The upcoming election must be a turning point for the lives of the people. JJB leader and presidential candidate Anurukumar Dissanayake delivered this message at the party's women's conference in the Matara district.
Fueled by the theme Gahanu Api Ekamitata Malimawata, the Jatika Janabalawege held its women's conference in the Mathura district. Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Jatika Janabalawege parliamentarian, and Anurukumara Dissanayake, the JJB leader and presidential candidate, took to the stage delivering powerful messages on women's empowerment and the party's policy goals. The event also marked the unveiling of JJB's women's
මේ මෑත ඉතිහාසය තුලදී උනත් නිර්භීත එඩිතර ශක්තිමත් ගැහැණුන් එළියට බැහැපු නිසා තමයි මේ සමාජ පෙරළි.
Even in the recent past, we saw revolutions take place in the society because of strong women. You cannot rob us of our labor and disregard our sacrifices. If due respect is not given, then we see no value in it. We are not here to convince you to vote for us. Now, elections are not our challenge because we are confident that we will win elections. Our challenge is the kind of policies and social order we hope to enact upon receiving the people's mandate.
පරිවර්තනයක්ද අපි කරන්න කියන අන්න ඒ අභියෝගයට මුහුණ දෙන්න තමයි අපි ඔබ සියලු දෙනාව එකතු කරන්නේ.
සමාවෙන්න මම මෙහෙම කිව්වට ඉස්සර සමහර දවස්වල කියනවා ඡන්ද පොලට උදේම ගැහැණු වැඩියෙන් එනවා.
I apologize for saying this. Those days when majority women came to the polls in the morning, they say that Mahinda may win. He has built a political culture around him, a culture that targets the women at the core of society. That was a strong point of his campaign. Even now we hear certain stories that women can be influenced. Now what has happened? Today, the Jatika Janabalawege is not here just for the women's votes. The government has planned to subject many essential commodities to VAT from the 1st of January. Usually essential items such as gas, milk, school equipment are exempt from the VAT. But from the 1st of January, those fields will also be included in the scope of the VAT. What does that mean? This will cause more inconvenience to you than 2023 economic crisis. Ranil Wickremesinghe sees this crisis in line with the dollar rate. They see this crisis through numeric data. After 25 years, the Presidential Secretariat released a statement saying that annual cost was recovered within this year itself. Ranil Wickremesinghe can clap for himself because that is an achievement after 25 years. Every parent in the recent past knows that they are living through the most challenging part of their life. People don't live this crisis through numbers, they live it through experience. We know the foundation of this. We can only rebuild this fallen nation if we all unite in the aim of making this country a prosperous nation. Therefore, we are requesting the women to come forward to continue this fight. In the upcoming presidential election, we should definitely make this change.
එළබෙන ජාතික මැතිවරණයකදී මේ දේශපාලන වෙනසේ ආරම්භය සාහිතික වශයෙන් අපි ගත යුතුයි.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna said it will be nominating 4 candidates for the upcoming presidential elections. Businessman and Member of Parliament Damika Perera has also expressed his intention to contest with the SLPP, stating he will meet 10 specific conditions before formally launching his campaign.
මම 2024 ප්‍රෙසිඩෙන්ෂල් කැන්ඩිඩේට් හැටියට එන්න වැඩ කරමින් ඉන්නේ.
I'm working to become the presidential candidate for the 2024 election. The SLPP is a massive party in Sri Lanka and we need to fulfill 10 conditions to contest for that party. We must create 1 million jobs, cannot sell state institutions and reduce the VAT rate. I have 10 such conditions. 5 years is only 9,600 hours and I must fulfill these conditions within that time. I am making the plan to do it. The last day to conduct the presidential election is the 12th of October 2024. We have 286 days till then. Let's see how we prepare within the next 286 days. The SLPP must make the announcement after I fulfill the conditions after preparing.
පුරුවට පස්සේ මම දැන් කරන්නේ ඒකට ප්‍රිපෙයාර් වෙන එක විතරයි. ඒතොර එහෙන් තමයි අනවුන්ස් කරන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද කැන්ඩිඩේට් කියලා. ඇත්තටම මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්න පුළුවන්. අයියෝ මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්නවා කියන එක එච්චරම කලබල යුතු නෑ.
Reviving this country is not a hard task. The only challenge is reviving the country without funds. But even so, it can be done to a certain extent. People have realized that what can be done without funds is also not being done. That is why people are angry.
Presidential battle.
The leader of the United Republic Front, Patali Champika Ranawaka, says that the statements declaring that he will support the upcoming president or the SLPP in the upcoming presidential elections are false.
The statement declaring that I told certain members of the Freedom People's Congress at the Parliament complex or elsewhere that I will be running as a common candidate for the next presidential election with the support of Ranil Wickremesinghe and SLPP's Mahinda Rajapaksa is completely false. We believe in a new program that we will present next year. There is nothing to say that a particular individual will contest the election. We will present a plan in which this generation can emerge victorious.
ජයග්‍රහණය කිරීම සඳහා පරපුරක් එම ජනාධිපතිවරණයට අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු.
Following the North Sumatra earthquake, the National Tsunami Early Warning Centre has confirmed that there is no tsunami threat to Sri Lanka. Coastal areas of Sri Lanka have also been declared safe. The National Tsunami Early Warning Centre of the Department of Meteorology said that there is no tsunami threat to Sri Lanka at present with the effect of the earthquake. The 6.6 magnitude earthquake occurred in the Indian Ocean at about 10:49 am this morning off North Sumatra. The earthquake was reported at a depth of 10 kilometers. The earthquake was clearly recorded on seismic data and tsunami alert centers in Sri Lanka. Torrential rains battering multiple districts have disrupted the lives of residents. The Disaster Management Centre says that the Polonnaruwa, Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Ampara, Hambantota and Munragala districts have been affected.
Deputy Director of the Disaster Management Centre, A.H. Ravindra Kumara, said 12 families in Monrakale have been directed to safe camps. Due to rising water levels in the Muthukandiya reservoir, authorities were forced to open the sluice gates, releasing water into the Haddo area. This overflow prompted the evacuation of 800 families from 4 small villages surrounding Lahugala, who were safely relocated to secure locations. 100 acres of paddy fields are also inundated due to this. The historic Pothuwil temple has been completely inundated due to the overflowing of the Karamba Oya. The opening of the Veheragala reservoir's sluice gates unleashed a torrent of water that inundated the Selakataragama Puja grounds. Tissa Maharama Divisional Irrigation Engineer Sahan Kumara warns that the water level is still rising in many areas. The Somavatiya Chaitya has also been flooded. The Director of the Hydrology and Disaster Management Division of the Irrigation Department, Engineer SPC Sugeshwara, said that about 60 main reservoirs are currently overflowing. Heavy rains and recent openings of 10 sluice gates at the Parakram Samudra Reservoir have led to the increased water flow in the Amban River, significantly impacting surrounding areas. With each sluice gate open 2 feet, an estimated 2,500 cubic feet of water per second is now rushing into the Amban River. This situation has triggered widespread flooding in downstream areas, particularly impacting vehicular movement along the Polonnarua-Batticaloa Road. With 2 sluice gates opened at Moragahakanda, 4,500 cubic feet of water per second will also be released into the Amban River. Authorities have opened 8 sluice gates at the Kantale Reservoir, resulting in the flooding of approximately 600 acres of paddy fields in the surrounding areas. Amidst the concern surrounding the flooded fields, reports and video footage have emerged of individuals bathing unsafely in the areas below the Kantale River. Sluice gates at the Angamo Reservoir have been opened by 1 foot each. This release will allow for gradual discharge of 600 cubic feet of water per second into the Kala Oya. Sluice gates at the Rajangane Reservoir were also opened. With each sluice gate open, an estimate of 15,650 cubic feet of water per second will now be released into the Kala Oya. 2 sluice gates, each measuring 5 feet, of the Navagiri Reservoir have been opened. This adds another 1,500 cubic feet of water per second to the already surging flow of the Kala Oya. The eastern region of Sri Lanka, particularly Kinnia, has been battered by the relentless rains. Roads throughout the area have become submerged. A mound of earth collapsed in Halyala along the Valimada main road. A landslide was also reported near a house in Nelundanda. A power line and a tree collapsed onto the Valimada Kandy road via Maspanna in the Rahupola area. Police urged extreme caution while travelling along the 18 Bend Road. Reports of landslides along the route, coupled with ongoing rainfall, poses a significant safety risk. In response to heavy rains, the National Building Research Organisation has issued landslide warnings to several divisional secretariats in a wide range of districts. The affected areas include Badulla, Kandy, Monaragala, Nuwara and Matale.
Authorities have netted 18,107 suspects since launching Operation Yuktiya on December 17th. In the past 24 hours, that ended at 12:30 am, 1,554 suspects were arrested. These results stem from a concerted effort involving 18,248 raids conducted across Sri Lanka.
In an operation this morning, Talangama police arrested the sister of a known organised crime member in Batapota Talangama. Officers also found heroin in her possession. Police arrested 21 suspects during Operation Yuktiya in Talangama today. A nightclub ice seller and wanted suspect were arrested in separate operations. In another operation, Kalutara North Police and Army officers joined forces for a targeted operation this morning at the Tsunami Housing Complex in Dadiavala, Kalutara North. Another operation was carried out this morning in Justin Kanda in Poddala, Gaul. Gaul Police with Special Task Force and K9 units inspected houses in Justin Kanda. During a shop inspection in Hatton, police arrested 2 individuals for drug addiction and 2 others for possessing 200 milligrams of C, a banned cannabis arecanut mix. Mattala police arrested 2 large-scale dealers near the Mattala Expressway entrance. Officers seized the duo who were suspected for providing illicit substances to multi-day fishing vessel operations off the coast. Inspection yielded 7.1 grams of heroin, 207 grams of cannabis and 3 mobile phones. Following the initial arrest, the police questioning led to the arrest of 2 further individuals residing in Mattala, Pahalandara Vavar. Local authorities in Polonnaruwa conducted an operation in the Kaduruwawala Muslim colony, leading to the arrest of 8 suspects for the involvement of illegal activities.
A woman has died following surgery at the National Hospital in Colombo. Hospital unions allege the cause was improper gas supply, claiming carbon dioxide was administered instead of oxygen.
A 61-year-old resident of Nugegoda was admitted to the National Hospital of Colombo for surgery recently. Hospital sources told Newsfirst that she passed away 2 days later during her recovery. The convener of the Joint Council for Professionals in Supplementary Medicine, Ravi Kumudesh, revealed that she was administered carbon dioxide instead of oxygen.
පියවුරු සම්බන්ධයෙන් ශල්‍ය කර්මයක් කිරීමට තමයි ජාතික රෝහලට ඇතුළත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ රෝගියා ඇතුළත්
She was admitted to the National Hospital for a surgery on her breast. The patient was admitted to ward number 6A. Her surgery was a success. After the surgery, oxygen needs to be given, and that is when she faced the complication. The cause of death is that she was given carbon dioxide in a high dose when being given oxygen. This is under investigation. The report says the patient died due to the lack of oxygen. We don't think this was a normal incident. We have asked the Health Ministry to conduct an investigation into this promptly. We heard that the National Hospital is also investigating it. Although the patient's death certificate states the cause of death as lack of oxygen, it doesn't include the background information which led to it.
අපිට වාර්තා වෙන විදිහට රෝගියාගේ මරණ සහතිකයේ ඔක්සිජන් මදිකම කියන කාරණාව සඳහන් වුණත් ඒකට පසුබිම් වෙච්ච කාරණා කිසිවක් වාර්තා කරලා නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි අපිට තියෙන තොරතුරු වලින් අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබෙන්නේ. ඉතින්
Director of the Colombo National Hospital, Dr. Kumara Vikramasinghe, told Newsfirst that an investigation will be launched into the incident. He said that he cannot issue a statement on the matter until the investigation concludes.
Meanwhile, Minister of Health Dr. Ramesh Patrana says that nearly 600 complaints are received annually about the mistakes of the health sector. The minister said that this raises an issue whether the officials have fulfilled their responsibilities diligently. The minister also stressed that the health sector as a whole has been providing a yeoman service to the general public, but the health sector can improve further. The minister expressed his views while attending a special inspection at the Peradeniya Hospital. The health minister went to speak on about malnutrition and said that malnutrition among children has increased. The minister stressed that the situation is dire in Norelia and Kandy district, and many special programs are being implemented for this purpose by relevant institutions both under the Ministry of Health and also non-government institutions.
The
present Health Minister and Health Secretary have a responsibility to prevent patients who come to receive free healthcare services from facing accidents and create the faith towards the free healthcare system. If the deaths are caused due to the setback within the health system, health administrators must take measures to provide administrative and structural solutions in this regard.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadas emphasizes that not only the health minister but also the 113 others who sided with him when the no-confidence motion was brought are responsible for the recent medicine fraud in the pharmaceutical industry, including human immunoglobulin scam.
We have a special issue today. An investigation is now going on regarding the theft, corruption and fraud that happened at the Ministry of Health in the recent past. Investigations are being conducted today on many recent frauds, mainly in the field of pharmaceuticals, including human immunoglobulin scam. I would like to say that the no-confidence motion was brought in because of the theft, corruption, fraud and the lives that were lost because of the substandard medicine. Many people lost their eyesight. When the no-confidence motion was brought against all this, 113 113 of the then government were in favour of the Minister of Health, defending his actions. They raised their hands shamelessly in favour of the medicine scam. I invite the 22 million people of this country to look for the names of those 113 people who showed their loyalty to Keheliya Rambukwalla. Those 113 are also respondents just like Keheliya. They are answerable to the 22 million people of this country. The 113 raised their hands in order to cover up the fraud and theft in the health sector. Every household should know who these 113 individuals who stood up for the substandard medicine are.
Parliamentarian Wajirabe Wadana spoke about the lack of media regulations in the country and the undue freedom enjoyed by media institutions. He said that if we are to become a colony of China, then we should use the Chinese constitution. He also highlighted that in China, democracy is exercised in strict constraint. He said that media in Sri Lanka only focuses on the negative and does not highlight any positives. He also pointed out that there should be strict policies to regulate the conduct of media institutions in this country.
ගුණාත්මක කියන. දැන් මම මේ වගේ හොදේ ඔක්කොම මට වයින්නවා. මම ඒක දිහා හිනා වෙනවා. ඉතින් දැන් මේ කියන ටීවී channel වලට රැට අසභ්‍ය වචන කියන්න බැරි වුණාට දැන් ඔබේ අතේ තියෙන එක උඩට බලන්න අසභ්‍ය වචන කොච්චර දේවල්ද කියලා. දැන් ඒක තහනම් කරන්න ඕනද නැද්ද? තහනම් කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ඒක එකේකලා කෑගහුවේ කියලා බය වෙන්න ඕනද? නෑ. තහනම් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක නිදහසද? නෑ. ඒක වල්පුරු නිදහස.
In its strides, secures the path for Surya Pokuna Pusalavina, guiding their journeys, banishing fears. Laying the foundation stone for a new bridge, a testament to safety and progress. Gamadda, for the people, by the people.
There are the issues of misgovernance, of systems of governance not quite working in the way that they're supposed to. And of course, the big issue of corruption.
We've survived crisis after crisis after crisis.
That vision of a collective effort of nation building is gone.
You are bound by other international agreements, international conventions, international traditions which you have to maintain.
They hoped that Gotabaya Rajapaksa would be the strong man who would, look after them and allow them to do whatever. But he proved both to be a coward and incompetent.
On the People's Platform, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TV1.
Moving on to news overseas, Russia said it has destroyed dozens of missiles and drones fired at its territory from Ukraine. Local officials reported 2 people, including a child, were killed in the attack.
The Russian Defense Ministry said 13 missiles and 32 drones were shot down over several Russian regions. The attacks follow strikes on Ukraine, which killed at least 37 people. More than 160 people were injured as Russia hit cities with missiles and drone strikes across the country on Friday, including the capital Kyiv, Odessa, Dnipro, Kharkiv and Lviv. In an update, Mayor of Kyiv said 7 more bodies had been pulled from the rubble of a warehouse that had been hit, taking the total number of killed in the city to 16. He described yesterday's attacks as the deadliest for civilians in the capital, declaring a day of mourning would be held in Kyiv on Monday.
In sports, it's cricket. Sri Lanka named the squads for the home series against Zimbabwe. Kusal Mendis will continue to captain the ODI squad with Charit Asalanka as his vice-captain. Vanidhu Hasaranga has been appointed as the new captain of the T20 squad. The following players have been included in both squads: Pathum Nisanka, Sadira Samaravikrama, Dasun Shanaka, Kamidu Mendis, Chamika Karunaratna, Akila Dhananjaya, Mahesh Tikshana, Dilshan Madhushankar, Dushmanta Chamira, Dunit Vellage, Pramod Madhushan, Geoffrey Vandersay. Joining the familiar faces in the ODI squad are newcomers Avishk Fernando and the informed duo of Sahan Arachige and Navindu Fernando. Janitenage, Asita Fernando and Chamika Gunasekara also earned calls up after their impressive performances in the ongoing Interclub Limited Overs tournament. Veteran players Angelo Matthews, Dhananjay Silva, Kusal Janit Pereira, Banuko Rajapaksa, Binura Fernando, Nuwan Tushara and Mathisha Pathirana joined the previously announced T20 squad. The first one-day international cricket match between Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe will be held on January 6th at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Moving on to another one of our local stories. In the last few days, we brought you information that the price of many goods and services will increase with the increase in VAT starting from the 1st of January. How will this new VAT affect public transport, water bills, telephone charges and other essential goods and services?
How will the increase in VAT affect the water bill? The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that the water bill will increase by 3% from next month. The Assistant General Manager of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, P.L. Padmanatha Gajadira Arachi, said that with the VAT amendment, an additional charge of 3% will be added to the water bill from next month. Currently, a 15% VAT is added to the water bill.
Details on this story, please log on to our social media pages for the details of the story that we just aired. And on that note, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.